What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this beautiful Thursday? Happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's currently out there and celebrating Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys eat a lot of turkey today. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Can we get some happy Thanksgiving in the comments below? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. As I said yesterday, we are going to continue to roll through these Monday through Thursday podcasts. Today is going to be a small, short, abbreviated version. So we got a 30-minute show today. We usually do an hour show, but we're going to do 30 minutes, obviously, because we want to spend time with our family. We got Thanksgiving. We got things to do. We want to watch some football as well. We got some football coming up here pretty soon. I know a lot of people have been chopping it up and talking about the World Cup in the chat here below, y'all. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat. We got Lennon, we got Brandon, we got Jean-Paul, Ian, Leonardo. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Today, what I want to talk about is just basically recapping Hard Knocks, right? The episode of 3. If you guys haven't watched it already, we're just going to do that today, right? We're going to recap how I feel about it and, kind of get your guys' take and how you guys feel about it. And we'll kind of go from there. Now, if you guys don't know the big storylines that are coming in through, Hard Knocks and the Arizona Cardinals so far, man, let me tell you one thing right now, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of drama from the Arizona Cardinals, and I mean a lot, right? From an organization standpoint where they try so hard to be like, button up, don't try to leak anything out. Like, this is the year that has been far from the Arizona Cardinals trying to keep everything in house, right? From the storyline of Sean Kugler, from the storyline of Eno Benjamin just randomly, letting him go. It's just a lot of weirdness for the Arizona Cardinals. But I mean, obviously, with this, downfall that we're seeing of this Arizona Cardinal team, just kind of, breaking into pieces. I guess this is what it comes with, right? It's what it comes with. You would really hope that there would be a leader in this locker room that's going to be able to rein everybody in. But in the grand scheme of things, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I guess this is where we are at, right? This is where we are as an organization. We're only kind of hoping for the last bit of when the clock strikes 0 in the last game, and we can focus on the off season. But as of right now, we do have about 6 games left on the regular season. So we'll have to kind of wait to see how it all shakes out. Now, if you guys haven't watched Hard Knocks already, spoiler alert, I'm going to definitely go ahead and let you guys know of a lot of spoilers. So, I'm sorry. This is your warning up front. If you haven't watched it, you don't want to get any spoilers, just go ahead and turn this off. But that's what we're going to be focusing a lot on this, this specific show more than anything. Now, I want to get into this real quick before we talk about Hard Knocks, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys don't have Twitter, I do recommend you getting it. And the reason why is because there's a lot of stuff on there that's kind of like behind the scenes that, it's not really told a lot, but this is one thing that I wanted to kind of point out, and it was from our guy Eno Benjamin. Now, obviously, guys, if you know, Eno Benjamin was just a weird situation that happened, right, with Eno. He ended up getting randomly cut. He was our guy that was supposed to be the dude that, like, he was just a really good running back for us, right? He took over when James Conner went down, and everything was looking very good for Eno Benjamin, and he just randomly got cut. Now, this is going to be the screenshot from Eno Benjamin. Now, obviously, this is Eno Benjamin right here, but this is going to be the screenshot of the tweet that he ended up posting. Now, this tweet came out probably about maybe an hour or two before the Hard Knocks episode dropped, and he said this. He says, "Can't wait for Hard Knocks tonight," with that little face like, right? Like that little rolling eye emoji. And then on the bottom, it says hashtag nothing ever happened. So it's like, right, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh man, now I'm really kind of getting to the point where like I want to see like what's happening in Hard Knocks, right? This is exactly why everybody wants to tune in. But of course, the Arizona Cardinals organization does everything they can to keep everything buttoned up, because the whole segment of Eno Benjamin at all was never there to be seen. Now, it's so weird because in the Twitter world, we were told that we are going to have that, that footage on here. And then it was retracted again by another person saying that, no, we're not going to get that footage because the cameras aren't rolling all the time. I just think that's a bunch of hogwash, ladies and gentlemen. The Arizona Cardinals are doing everything they can to, like I said a little earlier, like just to kind of make themselves look like that, buttoned up organization. Nothing to see here. Look away. Nothing's happening here. But man, there's two big storylines, right? The Eno Benjamin and Sean Kugler breaking news that we ended up seeing. And I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, in this Hard Knocks episode, there was maybe less than a minute of coverage when it comes down to these big two storylines. Now I get where people are coming from, where Sean Kugler, were like, well, what do you need to know, right? You want to follow him into a bar and see him go. Well, that's not what we want to see, but we want to see a little bit more, accountability. We want to see a little bit more, maybe Michael Bidwell, Steve Keim talking about it. We did see a moment of Cliff Kingsbury talking to the big coaching staff, saying something along the lines of like, hey, anything outside of football, we don't want to answer any questions, or we want to keep that in house, that type of stuff. So we did see a little bit of that. And that's why we saw, like I said, we had about a minute of coverage from the Sean Kugler story, but nothing from Eno Benjamin's story at all, which is absolutely disappointing. Like that's one of the main reasons why we tune into Hard Knocks, right? We tune into Hard Knocks to get those storylines, and we just kind of got disappointed. Now, to me specifically, if I were to rate episode 3 on a scale between 1 to 10, I would give it a big fat 5. And I'm just being generous at this moment, right? Hard Knocks has given us nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Hard Knocks has given us nothing as a fan base or even an NFL fan to keep watching. Like, we know what we saw, right? Like, one thing that I'm excited about Hard Knocks, I guess the one bright spot, I believe it was episode 1 or episode 2, where we saw DeAndre Hopkins talk Kyler Murray saying, hey, what the heck are you looking at? Like, that's the type of stuff we want to see. But episode 3 was like far from, anything spectacular. It was bad. It was boring. It was a 42 minute, 43 minute episode where it was obvious that there was a longer, episode, but they had to cut some stuff out. Like, it wasn't a good episode. It was really boring. It focused on right after the Rams game, right? So everybody was really excited. Everybody was really pumped up about the situation between the Rams. Yeah, we won, Roddy Dottie. We got, not Steve Keim, but Cliff Kingsbury coming out and saying, hey, we can keep doing this, right? Keep your eye on the prize. We got this moving forward, yada yada, that type of stuff. And then it shifts over to the Mexico game, right? And then everybody's excited about talking about Mexico. Do you have JJ Watt talking to James Conner talking to the coaching staff, and everybody's excited about Mexico. And it's a lot of interviews being done. And it's just, I don't know, it felt very clunky. It felt very forced. The last 5 minutes of the episode was very, how do I say it? Obviously depressing and very sad, because obviously we went through the beat down of Monday Night Football as well. Like, we didn't need anything else to recap it with a very sad song over it, because we knew what we felt, right, watching that Monday Night Football game. But the truth be told here is that this Hard Knocks episode wasn't it. It wasn't it at all. Now, there was a really kind of cool thing that we ended up seeing. We ended up getting, like, in the life of Antonio Hamilton, number 33. That was kind of cool, right? He ended up taking us like what exactly happened to his burns. He explained exactly what happened, right? You ended up seeing some really gnarly pictures about his foot and his feet and the story and what he went through. So that was kind of entertaining. That was pretty cool. They were trying to focus on Antonio Hamilton as well. One thing that he did mention as well, or one thing that I did catch, was that Antonio Hamilton was talking to himself because he was the guy that didn't tackle Kittle, right? That was the big storyline that came out of this game, where, this defense pretty much just quit, right? They ended up letting George Kittle walk into the end zone because he didn't do anything. He just ended up just watching them. So that was one big thing. He ended up kind of, beating himself up on the sidelines. He said, damn it, 33. Or he was even telling his teammates that he thought he stepped out of bounds, so that's why he didn't do it. But regardless of what it is, I mean, it didn't happen. It's a bad look. We all know where the Arizona Cardinals are, and I'm going to rate this episode a big fat 5. It wasn't good. It wasn't entertaining. I probably should have spent my night watching Christmas movies. Like that's how bad this episode was. Like, I really regret spending 45 minutes of my time sitting there watching it, hoping and praying that we're going to get something out of this, Hard Knocks episode, which is supposed to be drama filled, right? Which is supposed to be the best, kind of, mini series out there right now with HBO. And it was just far from it. It was absolutely far from it. Let me get to Jason's super chat here real quick. Appreciate you, Jason. He says, Mike, the Cards don't want to expose the trash. No, and that's true. And I completely agree with that for sure. I just, like I said, I think many of these things, like in terms of like why I'm so always upset, right? I think somebody asked me, why am I always so mad, right? It's my own fault. Like, it is. I think somehow, like, I'm always like setting myself having way too much high of expectations. And I think that's my fault, right? Setting myself up to have such high expectations that when it comes down, you come to the realization of like, damn, that really wasn't that good, right? Or damn, this team actually sucks, right? That type of stuff. So I don't know. Like, maybe I should just get better with like not having expectations for this team. But like, I think that's the problem, right? I think that's the problem as Arizona Cardinal fans, where we're kind of going through this team and we're watching it. And we're seeing things like people saying like, hey, they're gonna let them correct it, let them fix it, let them do their thing. You know what I mean? Somebody even kind of commented on one of my Twitter posts saying that I'm a really weird fan because all I do is talk negative about them. But like in my mind, it's like, well, nothing else is working, right? Like, what else are you supposed to do as a Cardinal fan? Just sit here and accept the abuse? Like, right? I mean, there's Cardinal fans right there that are absolutely pissed off. They're upset. They want to win. The days of just watching, a season and just going about your lives. We have people that are passionate, people that want to see this team succeed, and we're seeing the same crap over and over again. So, like, I don't think we would have so much people so upset if we weren't seeing the same crap over and over again, right? And allowing somebody to give us the same crap and over again with Steve Keim, right? Steve Keim has done nothing for this organization. He has still retained his job, right? Cliff Kingsbury, this is his year 4. One thing that the Arizona Cardinal fans want is to get him fired. Why keep him? Right. And I know the other side of it all, where somebody told me, Mike, Michael Bidwell never fires anybody midway through the season. It's probably going to happen in January. But in the grand scheme of things, like, what's that going to solve? Right. That's not going to solve anything. We know what's happening. It's almost kind of like you got to kind of rip it off like a Band-Aid. There's no point in having a situation to completely fester and kill this locker room, having people get mad at each other like a Buda Baker or maybe somebody else, those focal point stars in our team, to get really upset for no reason. And I think that's kind of where my mindset is like, if the idea is to get rid of Cliff, then why not do it now? Right? What's the harm in getting rid of it now and just ripping it off like a Band-Aid? Why not? Right? Or if Michael Bidwell truly thinks he could turn this around, then he's absolutely delusional. Like, he's absolutely delusional. And I don't understand why Michael Bidwell would think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be coming back from a 4-7 record. When have we ever done it? Ever? This Arizona Cardinals, organization, or this Arizona Cardinal, organization, since they moved here in 88, they have never won anything. Anything. They went to the playoffs, what, 3 or 4 times in the last 20 years? And I'm talking playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about a Super Bowl appearance. Like, what has this Arizona Cardinal organization done so much that they're keeping to their guns, right? They're right. They're correct. They know what they're doing, right? So the fans are like, oh, let them solve it. Let them be the ones to hold themselves accountable. But in the grand scheme of things, they're just lying to you and you're accepting it. And I don't want to be that fan that sits here and accepts it. You know what I mean? So let me get to the super chat here. We got Jason with another super chat. Appreciate you, brother. He says, hashtag hire Sean Payton. Hire him now. The regime is garbage. And I'm right there with you, Jason. I think that it's really weird. It's really weird that we have Michael Bidwell holding to his guns, right? And if indeed, I thought this would have been the perfect opportunity, right? Because we had 3 back-to-back-to-back division games. Back-to-back-to-back. This is where the season was right here. Back-to-back-to-back. You either can turn the season around, Cliff, or you can't. It is what it is, right? This is going to be where the season was going to be able to turn around in these division games. This would have been where you can tell your team and the players in there, I care for you. This guy isn't cutting the cheese. We got to move on. I was hoping Michael Bidwell would have done something like that, right? He hasn't done it. Now, we still have some hope. Maybe the bye week, maybe if we end up getting crushed against the Chargers. Now, obviously, we have some fans that are very optimistic about this game. I don't know why they're optimistic, but hey, more power to you, and bless your heart to think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to win this game. So, hey, if that makes you put your head and, sleep better at night, then that's fine. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals has a chance in this game. I truly don't. Now, we did get some news, right? We got some news pertaining to the Arizona Cardinals. We did get that Kyler Murray is going to start. So that's a win, right? We got Kyler Murray starting on Sunday versus the Chargers. And we did hear that Marquise Hollywood-Brown most likely will make an appearance, but he's going to be on a limited snap count. So, I mean, we're getting some weapons back, which is really good. But the grand scheme of things, our offensive line hasn't been changed, right? Our offensive line is still crap. Our offensive line is still a turnstile. Now, If the game plan is get the ball out of your hand quick, Kyler, then that's the game plan. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we're going to be finding ourselves at 4-8. Maybe he would get rid of him after that, right? We have a bye week. It would give another interim head coach another more time to kind of game plan against the next week coming back. Maybe, right? That's kind of all we're hoping for at this point, because I don't see a world where Michael Bidwell is really asking himself right now, flying in his jet, saying, man, we can turn this around, because I don't think we can. I don't think we can turn this around. This is an absolute crapshoot of an Arizona Cardinal team. And this Hard Knocks episode just kind of reinforced how soft and cushy and pretty boy football of a team we actually are. Right? I mean, there's only certain players on this roster that I feel like are a must keep moving into the next or moving into the future, right? An absolute must keep. Only a selected few. Because the rest, honestly, they're just like, okay, they're there, they're serviceable. But I mean, like, if you look at a roster with a team that has culture, you're looking at them and like, dang, that guy's for the long run. That guy's for the long run. That guy's for the long run. But for the Arizona Cardinals, we only have a selected few, and I could probably count them in my first hand right here. It's wild, right? It's wild that we're in this situation right now. I know I maybe expected too much. I think I truly did, and that's on me. I blame that on me as well. Just expecting too much of this Arizona Cardinal organization. But the grand scheme of things, like in the bigger picture, I just want to win. That's it. Like there's no motives here. There's no interior motives that I want to destroy this organization from the inside out. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to get a different regime. I want to get a different, people making the play calls, getting something to an ability where we can actually be a competitive team or a competent team. Because right now it's not it. It ain't it at all, man. It really isn't. So that's kind of, I guess, Hard Knocks in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Like, to me, it wasn't worth watching. So if you guys didn't take the time to watch it, I mean, you guys can. It's up to you, right? It's your time. But it's 45 minutes of stuff that you have already heard. One thing that I thought was pretty funny, I guess I didn't think, well, I guess it was pretty funny, but there was a moment that Steve Keim, sorry, I keep calling him Steve Keim. It's Cliff. I keep the stupid K names. Cliff was talking to like the rest of the, he was talking to the people that were the coaches, right? The coaching staff. When he finished his speech or whatever he needed to say, literally the camera clipped away when we saw Sean Kugler come out. Did anybody watch the episode? It was in the very beginning of the episode when Cliff was talking to everybody. When everybody was talking to everybody, the moment that it clipped away, Sean Kugler was coming into the auditorium or to the spot where the meetings were coming, and literally it clipped them out like at that very moment. Bro, he was clipped. He was absolutely clipped. And it was like, oh, that's funny, right? Like, how convenient. But Sean Kugler was mentioned less than a minute. Like, that storyline was less than a minute of the episode. Benjamin was nowhere to be seen. And Benjamin posted this, right? He posted this on his Twitter. So whether you believe that Benjamin was a really good running back or not, or, I do believe that he got dirty. He got done dirty. Now, I know there's a rumor out there saying that he got into it with a coach, right, back and forth, because his playing time, it's weird, right? It's a weird situation. Let me get to Jason with another super chat. He says, Sean Payton could be a GM/coach. Make it happen. Facts, brother. Facts. 2-for-1 special, right? Just like we said yesterday, just a BOGO right there, man. 2-for-1 special for the Arizona Cardinals. And I think that's a no-brainer, but I've got a lot of comments on the video that I posted about him. And a lot of people said, no, this makes too much sense, Mike. We're not going to do this. You know what I mean? It's funny because that's how we see our Arizona Cardinal organization. Because you're right. It does make too much sense, right? Sean Payton to the Arizona Cardinals makes too much sense. It does. Makes too much sense for the Arizona Cardinals to do something like that in order for us to succeed. It ain't going to happen. At least, right? At least feels that way. Right? At least feels that way in my eyes. It ain't going to happen. It just makes too much sense. He was a good running back. Absolutely. He held the load. He did what he could do when James Conner was down. I mean, I've gloated and I've been very, very optimistic about, James Conner, but I think we all got to come to the realization that this man has regressed as well. But I mean, he has been injured as well, right? He's been injured. But as of right now, Benjamin's 2022 stats, now he was picked up from the Texans in waivers. He had 70 attempts. This is for the Cardinals only because I don't think he's played an actual real game snap with the Texans yet. But with the Cardinals, 70 attempts, 299 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, it's a lot of the same crapshoot, y'all. So if you want to use your time, right? I mean, I would rather you guys use your time and spend some time with your family as opposed to watching that 45 minutes of debacle. We also got to see, we got a closer look of like Will Hernandez, but that's the thing. Like Will Hernandez, like the reason why he was like very much focused on in this episode is because he's Mexican, right? I mean, I'm Mexican as well, but like fans don't have a connection with Will Hernandez. We don't have a connection with Will Hernandez, right? It's just he came in and he's Mexican. Okay, that's cool. I mean, all right. I mean, so like it just felt very pieced together. It felt very clunky. It felt very uninspiring, just like our season. just exactly like our season, right? We saw Will Hernandez and him taking out the flag, and that was pretty cool. But like they focused on him because he was Hispanic. He's Mexican, right? So, they wanted to, have him run out of, it is what it is though. I don't know. I wasn't into it. I wasn't a fan of it. I really wasn't. Let's take it to the comments here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of people. We got 47 people in the house right now. Appreciate you guys for spending at least 30 minutes with me right now. Now, as I said a little earlier, this is going to be a short, abbreviated version. So if you haven't already done so, if you enjoy this podcast, definitely smack the like button on this video. It helps the channel grow out. It helps the algorithm, get those other Cardinal fans into this community is what we're trying to do. So definitely subscribe it up and smack that like button if need be. Let's look into the comments and let's see what you guys have to say. What's up, Eric Lee? He says Eno came in. Eno came in and stepped up when we needed him, and then Cards chucked them out when they wanted to do with them. Paying for the Cardinal, and yeah, that's the perfect way of describing it, right? 100%, Eric Lee. That's the best way to describe it. Facts, man. It's unfortunate because it's like, but do we really care about our players, right? Like we preach like that we care about the players, but do we really though, right? Because you're right. Benjamin did everything he could. He stepped up. He waited for a role to open up because this man was a 7th round pick in the 2019-2020 draft, something like that. Let me find out for sure. I know it was a 7th round. I just don't know if it's 2019 or 2020 draft. 2020. So a 7th rounder in the 2020 draft. And when we drafted him, I was like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's freaking go. I was excited about Benjamin because obviously ASU ties. And I know that he was always a hard runner, right? Small guy, always reminded me of Chase Edmonds, but I felt like he played with a little bit more physicality and he did step into the role. He absolutely stepped into the role when James Conner went down. And James Conner missed a lot of games, ladies and gentlemen. So I think that's why we transitioned to that running back by committee. But the moment that we didn't need him anymore, it's almost very unfortunate, or actually it is unfortunate to see a player that's given his all to an organization and literally chucked them out. Literally chucked them out. And if that was indeed what happened, right? If this was indeed what happened in terms of the reason why he got kicked off the team is because he got into an argument with an assistant coach, if that's the real reason why he got, kicked out, like, come on, where's the leadership there, right? Where's the owner? Where's the GM? Where's the people that are coming in here that are trying to make them work together, right? I mean, the answer isn't just peace, let it go later, right? I mean, I don't think that's always the answer when you're looking into these players, because if a player wants to come to the Arizona Cardinals and they hear this storyline, how does that entice any other free agent that wants to come over, right? How does that entice any draft pick that is excited to come to the Arizona Cardinals, right? It's all about culture. Culture is a bigger thing that you guys than we all think. Culture is huge. And it's funny now because we've been talking about culture for like a year and a half on this channel. And now people are starting to get the word culture and they're starting to use it verbatim because it's the truth. The Arizona Cardinals don't have culture. I mean, see elephant in the room, ladies and gentlemen. It's the truth. Steve Klein, for some reason, thinks we have culture. I don't know why he thinks we have culture, but we don't. We got people in there that want to get paid. They're happy that they got paid for an NFL team, but they're not a family. They're not playing for each other. They're not playing for one unison goal. That's not what's happening here. The Arizona Cardinals are an NFL team because we got players to play for them and paying them under contract. That's why we're an NFL team. But we're not a family. We're not playing for each other. The offense doesn't do it for the defense. The defense doesn't do it for the offense. It's just we're not playing unison. It's what it is, man. I'm excited, or I would love. That's why I guess a lot of people are excited about Sean Payton, right? Or at least the idea of Sean Payton. Because you bring Sean Payton in here, you bring a guy that's very similar to P2. I'm sorry, P2. Wow, why did I say P2? Wow. BA, my bad. I don't know why I said P2. BA. You bring Sean Payton in here, you bring somebody that has the same culture as BA does, right? Or at least in the outside looking in, a no bull crap mentality. You come here, you want to play, you fight for your job, right? There's no gimmies here. If a rookie comes out, or the third round rookie comes out and outperforms you in training camp, they're going to win their spot. If a rookie comes in and subs next to you or gets the 2 or 3 sacks in that game, they're going to win your spot because they want it more. That's what we want to see as Cardinal fans. And no, we favor so much veterans when sometimes the veterans aren't the best there. They aren't. Let's just call it as it is. Some veterans in these NFL teams, they got so cushy. We need dogs. That's what we need. We don't need people living in mansions. We need people that have the eye of the tiger. That's how you win. That's how you win. It's frustrating. Let's get to Jason. Jason says, look at P2, Matthew, Larry, and more. What culture? Yeah, I mean, right? Larry Fitzgerald, that whole situation is weird too, right? Now, I was on board, believe it or not, with Larry Fitzgerald not re-signing with the Arizona Cardinals unless he was willing to take a drastic pay cut. And I don't think Larry Fitzgerald wanted to do that, right? I think he wanted to either get paid more or regardless, he never signed back with the Cardinals, right? I wasn't okay with allocating $11 million to Larry at that point, right? We needed to kind of move on. If he was willing to come back, then that's cool at a shorter deal because we had so much holes. But you're right. P2, Tyrann Mathieu, and if you want to believe it or not, I do think that Larry Fitzgerald's departure from the Arizona Cardinals was a little odd. It's a little odd, at least to me, right? At least to me. Doesn't have to be for everybody, but at least to me, it was a little odd. He still hasn't been put in the Ring of Honor, ladies and gentlemen. He still hasn't been put in the Ring of Honor. So it's weird. Larry Fitzgerald, the year that he left this organization, he should have been put on the Ring of Honor. Why hasn't he? It's weird. Larry Fitzgerald has given his whole entire soul to this organization. The loyalty is up the wazoo with Larry Fitzgerald to this organization did. You just treated him like, peace out, my dude. Peace out. I never understood it, y'all. I never understood it. I thought that departure was pretty odd as well, but obviously with everything that was happening, we didn't really focus too much on the storyline because nothing came out, right? A lot of players don't want to have anything nasty, coming along with any organization. They want to keep close ties because who knows what job opportunity comes later on. It is what it is. The people with power always seem to win. The people with money and power always seem to win at the end of the day, which sucks. But if us fans, continue to, have this same message that we're kind of preaching out right now, the whole get rid of Cliff, get rid of Keim, I think it will come sooner than we think because I've never seen the amount of people so upset this year than this entire time that I've been doing a podcast. Now, granted, we've never sucked this bad, right? Since I've been doing the podcast. Yes, the year 1 was rebuilding with Kyler. So like 5.5 wins wasn't too big of a deal because it was rebuilding. But like this year 4, being that we regressed as bad as we actually did, like I'm starting to see people like actually like literally hashtag fire Keim, hashtag fire Cliff. And I love it. Like I'm all for it. Let's get Sean Payton in here because Sean Payton, believe it or not, let's He's the light at the end of the tunnel for the Arizona Cardinals. He really is. Double A-Ron with the super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. This most likely will be the last super chat of the night. We're coming close to our 30-minute mark. And like I said a little earlier, this is going to be a short, abbreviated version because A, we got football. B, we want to spend time with our family. And then C, my bad. It's Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Let me get to my last super chat of the night or of the day. We got Double A-Ron saying, we're thankful for you, Mike. Cards need help ASAP. Facts, brother. Facts, man. And this is going to be one of those things where I know, just keep rocking, y'all. Keep rocking with this channel. I know one day we're going to disagree with something, but it's definitely nothing that we can't, hug out and nothing that we can't kind of talk out about. So if ever I say anything crazy about this organization later on down the road, hey, stick with it. We got this, ladies and gentlemen. Bird Gang forever. Let's go ahead and see if we can make this this message go through with Sean Payton being our next head coach. We'll see. Fingers crossed. All right, everybody. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Thank you so very much. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Smack the like button if you guys haven't done so already. Have a great rest of your day. Hope you guys eat a lot of freaking turkey today because that's exactly what I'm going to do. I got 2 Thanksgivings today, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cards. Peace out.